Welcome everybody to Gamer Like Dad. This is episode number 2. We need a shout out, don't we? Woo! We made it. You know, I thought I was suffering from podcast burnout. I didn't think I could do the second episode. Just kidding. I actually could not wait to get in this seat and talk about video games and stuff with you guys. I've been working all day, working on houses, painting, doing projects out in the outdoors. And I'm like, I want to be lazy and be inside and talk about technology and gaming and nerd stuff.
Sounds like something I can do.
Absolutely. But guys, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us again on the second episode of Gamer Like Dad. I am Chris Larson, otherwise known as Gamer Like Dad. And to my right is Mark Larson, otherwise known as Elder Geek Gamer on YouTube.
On the tube, Elder Geek Gamer.
On the tube, he is. That's right. And if you didn't know, we're going to be sharing this content both on Gamer Like Dad on YouTube and also Elder Geek Gamer on YouTube.
And on all your favorite podcast apps.
Absolutely. And to my left, the best of us three.
Certainly the youngest.
It is me, Bentley Larson.
Yep. And Bentley, you can be found at Gamer Like Dad, right?
Yep.
Do you have any other channels you want people to look you up on?
Nope.
He's good. He's good right here. You can find him right here all day long. Not really. But here we are, guys. We are here ready to talk about what we're excited about. Well, we're going to be talking about the month of November, right? And by the time you hear this podcast, it's going to be well into the month.
Yeah, we're recording this on the 5th?
Yeah, and this will be releasing on
The
Friday the 11th.
Right.
Yeah, midnight.
So that way it's got some chance to breathe and ruminate, you know. It's going to get better over time.
That's right. We're like a fine wine.
Yeah, it's just going to sit there and improve.
Wait, we don't drink, so it's got to be like a fine soda. Soda pop.
Okay.
Do you guys say the word pop? Anyway.
It's a sody pop.
Guys, also just wanted to thank everyone for downloading our first episode of Gamer Like Dad, and we got such amazing reviews, 5-star reviews. And if you're new to us this time, give us a like, give us that 5-star rating. That's how, all those the Google gods and the iTunes head honchos, I don't know, what do you call them? That's how they
it's called the algorithms.
The algorithms. That's right.
Algorithms.
That's right. That's how they find us. So we appreciate you guys for giving us all those great comments and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gets us excited.
Yep.
But
so what are we going to talk about first?
Oh man, well I think we're going to talk about some games that are coming out this month.
Cool.
Yeah, and I'm going to head it over to Elder Geek Gamer here. He's going to lead us on this discussion.
I am.
Yeah, or at least somewhat.
That's cool. So
yeah. Let's go over. We're going to go over to the list. Yeah. So so our first game, I think we're talking about games and tech, right? But I guess in the first game, it comes out really soon. It comes out on the 8th, correct? Is that our first one? Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah, that's your territory. You guys.
Sonic Frontiers. Bentley, have you played a Sonic?
Yes, I have.
Do you remember which one it was?
No idea.
Yeah. I honestly, I used to be my, Dad, was it my go-to game? Did I play a ton of Sonic? Was it because, we had both a Nintendo, I'm a spoiled only child, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know. And I did have pretty much every game system at my fingertips. That was his fault. That was this guy.
I take full responsibility.
Yeah, full responsibility. And it was fantastic.
I'd do it all over again.
Yeah, all over again. And I'm doing it to Bentley now. So, but I played Sonic. I think I loved Sonic back then.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
You had a lot of fun with it.
And I played a lot of them. As I got older, I kind of skipped them. And then as I thought back, like just recently, with all the talk about Sonic Frontiers, I thought, did I really like Sonic? And the hardest thing about that game was you gained up all that momentum and you had all those amazing moves and stuff. And as soon as you hit something and all your rings go flying, everybody knows how Sonic works. And then you start so slow again. It's like you're like, for those watching, you're slow motion, and then he starts gaining speed again. I think now that I think about it as a 45-year-old man, I hate that mechanic.
There you go. Well, that's part of the reason why they're kind of reinventing things with Sonic Frontiers.
Yeah.
They're taking it in a whole new direction, a popular direction for a lot of franchises. And I think this is an opportunity for them. And I think you mentioned this the other day when we were talking.
Yeah.
Was when the first previews came out, everybody's kind of like, I don't think so.
Absolutely.
But as time has gone by, people have been more interested and more positive.
Yeah, and the people that were able to play it a little bit or see that little dev demo, it's like an alpha release version of the demo of the game, just a splice. And they were saying how the world felt really empty. There wasn't just much to do in it. But again, all their testing is kind of the free roaming aspect of the game, right? But now it's getting great reviews from people who are playing it.
So that comes out on the 8th. Will you guys be picking it up?
Would you play a Sonic game, Bailey? I don't know.
It depends on how amazing it is. I mean, this one's going to be so much different from the other Sonic games. So.
Yeah.
Is there any multiplayer in it? Or is it just single player?
That's a great question. I don't know for those listening or watching, if you know, if there's multiplayer, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. 'Cause I haven't got a clue.
Yeah. Honestly, would I play it? Yeah, I would play it. Would I spend $70 on it? I don't know. There's too many games coming out right now. And I've been so spoiled with just giving games on Game Pass. Game Pass? Games Pass?
Game Pass?
Game Pass. So and then there's big AAA games. I mean, really quadruple A games coming out on PlayStation, and which we're going to talk about here very soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Well, there's one that's coming right on the 9th, and everybody knows. If you're listening to this channel, you don't know what's coming out on the 9th. Wake up. Wake up.
Do you live under a rock?
God of War Ragnarok is coming.
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Nice.
And that's going to be an exciting game. And what I've been doing is I went back and I started replaying God of War 2018. And I've been playing it on the easy baby wavy mode, which blends more of a story mode, graphics wise, and those type of things. A little bit less challenge, but I'll tell you what, it's plenty challenging. It's still lots of fun. And for me, I wanted to get this finished before I start Ragnarok.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wait maybe a month before I start Ragnarok because I don't game as much as I used to.
Yeah.
But I still would like to. I'm really enjoying 2018.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I mean, the dialogue, the story, the graphics, every single bit of it. This is a masterpiece game.
Well, and it won Game of the Year awards for most people. It was against that and Red Dead Redemption 2. Those were the two that were up for kind of the Game of the Year awards. Like they were kind of up against each other, and at least at IGN, God of War won that battle. The mechanics were so different, I think what everybody was always talking about was the seamless gameplay from a cutscene into the actual gameplay.
They just keep it rolling.
Right. That's all they talked about. Now this is going to continue into Ragnarok, and I've heard some people say, well, not much is changing in that area, right? It's the same continuous gameplay.
Yes. Yeah. I think they've made things that are good better and things that are great fantastic.
Yeah.
I think they've just strengthened the franchise from the early. I did watch one early review with no spoilers, and that was IGN's review. And it was really positive of it. They just strengthened the franchise, and that's what you want to hear.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I even called you and said, I was listening to MinMax. Guys, if you want another great podcast to listen to about video games, Ben Hansen, who used to work for Game Informer, and he ran the podcast there for a really long time, and then he split off. And there's a few Game Informer people that are with him on that podcast. But Janet Garcia is another one who's with IGN, or was with IGN, and now she does stuff on Kind of Funny. But he was asking her, Ben Hansen was asking her on the MinMax podcast about her thoughts on Ragnarok, God of War, without spoiling anything. And she paused, and she's a pretty harsh critic on things. She'll tell her opinion, and she was just like, I might just have to say it was I think she said it was one of the best games she's ever played. And that kind of surprised me. I don't want to, misquote her, but go check out that MinMax podcast. We'll put it in the description because it was such a good they did such a good discussion on it.
There are Twitch games, there are jump and platform games, and there are epic story games like God of War. And that's truly what it is. It's an epic story, and it's set in a fantastic mystic world. Yeah. And all that just comes together in a perfect way. Yeah. That's just one of those games you don't forget.
Yeah. Bentley, would you play a game like this? So and the reason I ask this is, so Bentley, you're 16, right?
Sure.
Yeah. Whatever you say, Dad.
But I get you don't really play these. You don't really play a lot of like action, violent type games.
Not always.
But like when God of War was around, the previous like games and iterations, I mean, I wouldn't let you play those games. I mean, they had
too gnarly.
Too gnarly. They had bad stuff in it. There's stuff that's just not for kids, right?
Yeah.
At
I was
least,
the same
in,
way
at
with
least
you
in my
growing up.
opinion.
You were
Yeah,
the same way.
you were pretty strict, and but now that you're 16, would you play something like this, knowing that the story's changed a little bit? Father son relationship kind of thing. I don't know. It's third person kind of view. Pretty gorgeous graphics.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played a few story games. Definitely not as much as like I don't know, the other games I've played, but like
Skyrim or something like
say
that. Even though it's like an RPG.
PlayStation is like they're all about their stories.
Oh
right?
man.
So like when I played Spider-Man, I got a little taste of that. Or like what was the game? Was it Horizon?
Yeah, Zero Dawn.
Zero Dawn. Yeah. I played a little bit of that, and that was also a good story and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I haven't actually seen a lot of God of War, believe it or not. You guys are talking about God of War, but I really have only seen the franchise title and all that.
That might be something we should just try. Maybe even do a little stream on the channel or something, and just play.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, play a little God of War. But anyway, so that one. And also, I wanted to add on the God of War. We've been talking about it a lot, and we should move on. But I was gonna. This kind of gets in the discussion of our busy schedules, and maybe we won't get into this quite yet. But I've been playing it on the Steam Deck, and
you can play it on the stage now. Is it a, what do they call them? Not an authorized game.
Yeah. So they prove it to where it plays pretty well on a Steam Deck. You don't have to change much as far as controls or any of the settings on it. But here's my downside of the Steam Deck. So the nice thing about it is I'm so tired. I'm working so late, and I come home and I want to go sit in the office and play on a beautiful screen on the on the PS5 or something like that, and just have that experience. But when truth comes down to it, for all those who have kids and who are working late and just have busy lives, I just want to lay in bed. And so the Steam Deck, I just sat down, and the graphics are not there on the Steam Deck for God of War, but God of War is a big game. And it's amazing that I'm even playing it on a handheld device. Now here's the downside. The battery lasts about an hour and 10 minutes.
Right.
Pushing God of War. The fans are going.
So you and I were talking earlier about this. This is kind of like going to see Avatar in IMAX.
Yeah.
Or seeing Avatar on your phone.
Yeah.
And halfway through playing it on your phone, your battery runs out.
Yeah.
So I think the Steam Deck has a lot of applications and a lot of great things it can do, but there are some inherent weaknesses in that.
Yeah.
When you do a graphically intensive game like God of War at it, it's on a regular game that's not so intensive. How long does the battery last?
Oh, I can play Vampire Survivors or another version of that kind of game, Brotato, which I'll talk about.
Yeah.
It'll last hours and hours and hours because it doesn't use the power.
GPU intensive and CPU intensive, and it just uses up the battery. So,
But anyway, so that's my experience. I've been trying to play 2018 and catch up to play God of War, but I'm just going to finish it when I can finish it. That's just what's going to happen. So we might have to do the unboxing, which we'll talk about, of these collector's editions later, and then finish the game later.
Yep.
All right, so that's God of War.
Yep. So that's we talked Sonic Frontiers, God of War. This next one is all you guys. Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
Scarlet and Violet.
Scarlet and Violet. Nice.
Yeah. So how excited, Bentley, are you for that?
I'm pretty excited. Obviously, or I guess not obviously for a lot of people, but the new Scarlet and Violet is introducing a new era in Pokemon, and they do this I don't know, what is it, every 4 years in Pokemon, where they introduced a new game followed by the anime or the cartoon that goes along with the game, and then they have the card sets that they release that goes along with the game and the show.
So it's this whole ecosystem.
So this game is going to start a whole new era for Pokemon, which is pretty exciting for all of the fans, and it's the first look that we get at how they're changing the gameplay, because they always change the gameplay a little bit and add some new elements, but then also just all the new Pokemon and stuff like that. So
yeah.
And the question I have for you guys is, can you ever catch them all?
It's a good question.
That is a great question. Definitely not all the cards, that's for sure.
Yeah.
We've been there with the collecting, and it is it definitely takes. I was gonna play this this official trailer while we were talk. Oh, we have volume going. Let me turn the volume down. There we go.
So when does this come out?
This comes out the 18th.
18th. I
Yeah.
didn't write that down.
Yep. There's a little teaser trailer. Doesn't really show a ton of gameplay. Shows a dude running around finding Pokemon in the real world. I feel like, oh, there we go. There's
What
some
systems
gameplay.
is this available on?
So this is on the Switch.
Just the Switch.
Yep. And there is talking about tech, they actually released a Scarlet and Violet OLED Switch.
Sweet.
Yeah. And Bailey and I looked at that the other night. What are your thoughts on that OLED Switch?
It looks pretty dope for sure.
Yeah.
Introduces obviously like the new legendaries are on it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it has pretty cool color scheme.
Yeah. Got a lot going on the back. Had a lot of cool designs. Has the starters on the backs of the Joy-Cons. And it's got the Scarlet and Violet colors. Look basically grape and a mix of I didn't realize Scarlet was like a orange red.
Yeah. They called it Scarlet. I don't know.
It's just Scarlet. It's not red. It's not orange. In the middle somewhere. Anyway, so we're watching some gameplay right now, guys. If you're not on the video version and you want to go over to YouTube, Elder Geek Gamer or Gamer Like Dad on YouTube, we'll have the gameplay showing right now. But there's the regular Switch, and then
I got my OLED Switch when Metroid Prime came out, and it's not Metroid Prime, Metroid Dread. I think of the really old Metroid game. I love the Metroid series.
Yeah,
but I tell you, the OLED Switch is just awesome. There's certain games that are made for it, and those black levels on it. And the sound is actually better on the OLED Switch too. Yeah.
Oh, the colors,
everything pops.
Everything pops on an OLED Switch. It looks really good.
Coming from your pop, I want to let you know that everything pops.
Also on Scarlet and Violet, there's a lot of new. You can take different paths. You don't necessarily have to go to go fight all the gyms. I guess you can attend school. There's cooking. You can make sandwiches and have picnics with your Pokemon. Dad, does that interest you?
I'm just gonna sit here for a minute and take a nap.
They've actually announced several of the Pokemon, right, Bentley?
Yeah.
We watched one. What was it? What's his name? The little dog Pokemon.
Graveyard.
Yeah.
Graveyard.
This guy right here.
The ghost dog.
Yeah. It's a ghost dog. An interesting thing about Graveyard, I guess because they're playing off the graveyard.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. But he's a puppy dog, and he's got like a little candle on the candle's underground, and apparently he lives underground mainly as a ghost pup. But if you get near him, and he'll pop out, and he's a super friendly doggy. But there's a dark side to him, just like there are with a lot of Pokemon. And if you play with him a bunch and you hang around him enough, he saps your life force, and you pass out. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's a little creepy. Cute doggy, but man.
Over 100 children have gone missing over the last month since the release of this game.
And right there, so you can see, if I can pause it fast enough. Nope, I didn't pause it fast enough. They have the crystal, what do they call it? Crystal something. It's the crystallization of the Pokemon. It's like all the other mechanics back in the past, Bentley. What have they been? They've been VMAX.
Oh, yeah. Starting with Mega Evolution, going into... was it Mega Evolution was the first one, and then VMAX.
Maybe. Yeah.
And
that was in the XY era?
It was Z moves after Mega Evolution.
Okay. Z moves.
And then Dynamax.
Because that was Alola, right? That was in Alola. Sun and Moon. That's Sun and Moon Pokemon, Dad.
I'm sure I knew that. Sure. Well, duh.
And then there was Gigantamax.
Gigantamax. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And anyway, but that's the new one.
Yep.
And apparently it can change their the type that the Pokemon is.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So anyway.
Well, you guys know your stuff. I know nothing. So
that's everything for Pokemon, Dad. There's our coverage on the Pokemon side.
Cool.
But that comes out on the 18th. And so that'll also be out by the time we do our second episode this month. Guys, just in case you didn't know, we're doing 2 episodes a month for the podcast, one on the second week and one on the 4th week of the month. But we might be striving to do a live episode this last part of the month.
Yeah, I'd really like to. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
What do you think, Billy? Think we could do it?
Sounds good to me.
I think we could pull it off. We might even do a little after party action where we do an unboxing of something and do it live so that people can take part.
Yep.
That'd be cool. All right.
Some giveaways.
Dad, and I think we have one last thing. Maybe?
Yeah, I'm going to do a little spillover.
Yeah.
Gotham Knights
And I've got something to show off while you're talking about it.
Released
That he
on
brought.
the 21st of October.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really count as a November release, but it launched in such bad shape that we're going to call it a November release because it's had a couple of bug patches and it's starting to get better.
Mm-hmm.
But this has been a game that's, you know, it's been really controversial. But one of the things this kind of segues into, because a lot of the games that I buy, and Chris and I will buy together, we buy the collector's editions.
Right.
So like with God of War that we were just talking about, we have the collector's editions on purchase pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
And I also do the same thing with Gotham Knights. But the question becomes, are these collector's editions getting too expensive? And I think they are. So let's take a look
for those,
at
for those listening, we're pulling it up on
we're pulling
on the
this up.
video.
So we just go to Best Buy site and we type in video game collector's editions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of the things I'll look at to find out, you know, what's out there, what's still in stock, what's available. And every so often I'll find like a collector's edition that's like from 6 months ago that's at half price.
Now tell us your secrets. I don't want to sidetrack you too long, but you are a master at ordering things and getting them before other people do. Do you have a secret? Do you want to share that secret?
Sure. One of the things you can do,
or at least a tip.
Here's a tip. Take some of your favorite stores. Take GameStop, take Best Buy, take Walmart, and take the actual developer's store if they're selling the actual item
I
itself.
didn't think about that.
Keep those on your cell phone with you. And then throughout the day, just take 2 to 5 minutes. That's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
So check those stores and see where the inventory is there. And in one of those places, you're bound to find it. And in 95% of the cases, I get every collector's edition I want.
Oh, nice.
So, and there's other things you can do, but maybe I'll do an episode on that.
You just got to be on top of it a little bit.
Yeah. And it's not that just everybody bemoans about, oh, I couldn't get a collector's edition. Well, it takes a little bit of work, but it's not complex. If a 70-year-old guy can do it, you can do it.
Well, and most of us, I mean, the general public, to be fair, you know, we just hear about it when it's out. You know, a lot of people, when they hear the news, they're hearing it from, you know, not an insider news. It's usually just someone's like, hey guys, it's out. And it was,
well, and we're
maybe
serious.
This morning it released and it's already gone.
We're serious players and collectors,
mm-hmm.
you know? So, I mean, I won't put myself as a real serious collector because there are people out there that have to own every single thing.
Well, you're pretty big there, though.
But I get a lot of stuff. So let's bring this up so that people that are watching this can actually see it.
Yeah.
We're going to take a look at God of War Ragnarok Collector's Edition. Now, this is $200. And for me, at $200, that's about the cap I'd like to see on most things. They have another edition that's $50 more. I thought this was one of the best value for the price. And that's what we really got to talk about is when we look at the value. Mm-hmm. So you're looking at it, Chris. What is coming with this? You got a steel book?
Steel book looks like you have two. Are these two little figures?
Yeah.
It says, they're carvings. So it looks like wood carvings with some red and blue, just the coloring detail on their outfits. Really cool. And then it comes with Bentley. Your favorite.
Yep, the dwarven dice set looks pretty dope.
Dwarven dice. These look like wood almost carved, different shapes. I guess like D&D people would know, right? Those types of dice.
Yeah.
And what's that thing right there, Chris?
And they come in a little pouch. And then my favorite piece, oh my goodness, is of course Mjolnir replica, which does not look like the same one in store from the Marvel. You know, for those,
it's pretty awesome looking.
It's no, and I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing. That's just,
you know, I hope they put some weight in it. I hope it's just not like a piece of light foam.
I know
that's gonna be really
just
disappointing
foam,
if you pick it up and it just go. Boing.
I don't think so. I think it's gonna be at least made of some resin and have some weight to it.
One of the things we're looking at on this screen is the Knowledge Keeper's Shrine, which is what the box is for this.
Oh, okay.
I love it when they do great things with the box. Yeah. I've said this before in other podcasts, which we only have one other podcast, but I've said it in that one too, is I love a great box because you can do so many things with it. And that's one of the reasons I don't have a lot of room to display things in my room. If it's a really cool box, I display it.
Yeah.
So if you think about this, the game itself is $199. The collector's edition is minus $69 for the game. So you're paying $130 for this really cool box, a steel book, the dice, the dwarven dice set, the hammer, and the Knowledge Keeper Shrine. I think that's a good deal. I really do. If you think $130 for that, that's right on par. I have no issue with that whatsoever.
And as you can tell, like for us, like for Bentley and I, like getting this collection thanks to Elder Geek Gamer. My dad right here spoiling us. He picking us up an extra copy, which I didn't do for him on the Steam Deck. If you listen to our last episode, but my favorite thing, if you can look behind us, guys, is I like collecting weapons from games and movies and stuff like that. And we've got Minecraft swords and the Galahorn from Destiny, OG.
Man, you picking up that Galahorn was an awesome thing.
Yeah, I
That's
love
mega.
it. The D1 Galahorn. I've got some Lego weapons on the back of the wall, guys. Again, if you haven't watched the video version, but yeah.
Okay, well, let's pop over to Gotham Knights.
And then for Bentley, the dice is where he's at because he's a big D&D guy.
So you know we're going to find a set of dice.
Yes.
There's ways to do this. If you didn't already know, I'll give you guys another tip. If you're collecting something and you're just looking for a specific item, you'll find lots of people in Etsy or different places who will just sell that one item. And so like you can look for the dice and you'll find somebody who'll probably say to buy the dice for like 20 to 50 bucks. And at that point, if it's worth it to you, just buy it. You just get that for somebody. So
that's a good
the
idea.
phone lines will open up in just a minute. We're going to be taking calls and donations for Bentley's Dice Fund.
Yes,
Bentley's Dice Fund.
Please donate.
And what we didn't mention is there's a bigger version of that God of War special edition, and the dice were different in that one.
They are different.
Yep.
They also had a couple little figure things that I knew I would never display or have any room to put.
I guess one thing that I did see and that I was a little jelly of is it has a record in it, and I'm starting to collect.
Had I thought about that?
Some records that have some nice print on them.
You could do what I just said.
Yeah,
you probably
just go
find
find the
somebody
record.
on one of those different sites and find somebody who's just
that doesn't have the record. Yep.
Yeah. So let's look at the Gotham Knights Collector's Edition.
Okay.
That's $300. And I will tell you right off the bat, if you ask me the value, is it here? Well, let's go through what's in it.
Okay. And
so you get a cut. Go ahead.
For those not, again, watching or going over the collection on Best Buy here.
Go back to the first graphic there. So you get a pre-order, you pre-order it and you get the 233 custom Bat Cycle skin. So anybody that pre-orders gets that. So it's not really exclusive to the collector's edition.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So the next one, what is exclusive is you get a Gotham Knights, pull it up just a little bit for me. Gotham Knights Deluxe Edition game that comes with a separate media book.
Right here.
Yeah, if you'll click on that so I can read it. The old man can't read that.
Yeah, it's not going to let me zoom much more.
That's perfect. So it's a LED book packaging. And what it does is there's the 4 characters on the front of this book. And each one of their chess pieces lights up with an LED color. It's pretty cool. It's
on the book itself.
On the book itself. It's kind of a crummy implementation of it because you can't find the button to light up the LEDs.
How do you do it?
It's hidden on the inside cover underneath the cardboard.
Oh, so you can't even activate it from the outside.
No, you have to go from the inside and you have to hit it. Like it takes me 10 times to get it activated.
Yeah.
It's a great idea, great concept, but it wasn't well implemented. And then if you were with us here and looking at this, you'd also see that book is an art book. It has lots of really cool art from the game itself. It also has a place in the back for you to put the disc. So you don't get a steel book per se, but you do get the media book that comes with it.
Yeah.
And then if you'll pop back to that screen again, you also get a map, which is a
in the back here,
paper map
behind the characters.
You know, it's okay, but the big thing for me is did we talk about the augmented reality collector pin?
We didn't. There's a little pin, guys. If you're not watching, there's a little pin. It looks like just a regular pin that you just pin on your shirt.
Yeah, and you just take your phone and put the camera on, and it'll take that, I think, a QR code on it or whatever, and do some little AR thing with it.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, that's just one of those things that you
it's a little tchotchke that, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, so then you get all the in-game content, the Promethean New Guard,
transmogs. Yeah, so you get some skins for your
and
characters.
the Visionary Pack content, those type of stuff. But the big thing that's attracted me was the statue. What's cool about this statue is it's 4 players.
And we have one, guys. I'm going to cut to our face cam here and bring it up. There we go. And we can even zoom in a little bit.
So there it be. And you have to ask yourself, so the whole thing was $299. We take off $89 for the game. That's $210 we're paying for the statue, for the media book, for the key. There's also a little thing that says this is an authentic production, what the run number of it is.
I'm doing the Vanna White spin of the figures here. If you guys want to watch the video, thank you.
Need some creamer on your hands, buddy.
Yeah, they're rough.
But that's an awesome statue. I really like it. Is it worth $210? Well, let's take off the other things. Let's give us, let's say $40 for the other stuff. So
Yeah.
if you take $40, 210, what's that bring us down to? 200, 70, 170. So if you pay in 170, and I'll tell you what I pay for this statue. If it's just the statue by itself, I'd pay anywhere from a low of $75 to up to $150 for it.
Really?
Based on other statues that I've seen.
Okay.
And then what the main appeal to this is, it's really high quality, really well detailed, and it has all 4 figures interacting in it. A lot of times you can pay $75 for a statue of a single entity figure. And for this one, you get all 4. But that is still worth some money, but still that's $300 for this sucker.
Yeah.
And I'll show you one more thing until we move on to the next thing.
So let me ask you then. So with the Noble team from the Halo one, right? Is it the Noble team that's in all 6 of that fire team together? How much was that one? If you remember on Halo,
$150.
See, that's crazy.
Right.
Like arguably, it's Halo.
And I bought 2 of those. I bought one way after they came out.
Yeah.
I mean, just recently in the last few months, I bought one.
Yeah.
And I paid $150 for a really pristine one, and I paid $125 for one that had a couple issues with it. So I don't mind paying what the original price was if it's a really hard to find item and it's in good condition.
Right.
So that was terribly awesome.
Right. Okay.
So go back to one more screen real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Go back to the first page of the Gotham Knights thing.
Okay.
Back one more.
All right. I'm searching, guys, for what are we looking for?
Okay, right there. So we're at the screen where we see God of War above
On Best Buy.
Ragnarok.
Yep.
Yeah, then Gotham Knights is the next one. I'm going to show you something very interesting about this. You can still buy the PlayStation 5 version of that. What's that tell you about the game and how popular it is?
Oh yeah, it's available.
It tells you that it's struggling, especially with the non-PC editions, which are really struggling with frame rate. Click on the Xbox Series X.
Where at?
Right to the right. You got 3 of them in a row.
Oh, gotcha.
You can still buy it.
Yeah.
You know which one you can't buy?
Is it on PC? Wow.
Now, why can't you buy the Windows one? Because the Windows is the best version of Gotham Knights.
Can't you play it in higher frame rates?
You can play decent frame rates. There's more things you can do to tweak it out. You're very limited in what you can do with the consoles. So that one's gone, but the other 2 are still available.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if this is something in the next 3 to 6 months, you start to see them available for $150.
Gotcha.
So are collector's editions getting too expensive? Yes. You have to determine what it's worth to you. And if it's worth it to you, more power to you.
Yeah. Guys, let us know what you think about collector's editions. If you're a collector out there and you pick up figures or anything, do you get sold? My 2 cents, from our collector's editions that Bentley and I have, grabbed or you've grabbed for us, it was really Destiny was kind of the one that I started really buying those big editions. Yeah. And when Bungie was releasing those first ones,
like the one I've got with the interactive ghost.
Yeah, with the interactive ghost was awesome. I wish I'd grabbed that one. And then they did another one that was on maybe King's Fall or maybe with Crota.
Oh, it's got the ghost that.
Yep. The one that you can squish, but that's from the newest one, right?
Yeah.
But they had a couple sets, but then they started releasing some collector's editions that had kind of like what we saw with this Gotham Knights, where it was just a map and some paper and a book. Which an art book is cool, but for me, it doesn't sell me all the way. And as a collector, I like to display things. Now, a book you can display, but having
how many printed materials can you show? I mean, it's limited space. You want to put a figurine, like go back to the Doom Eternal version. I mean, what did that thing cost me? Probably $200.
Yeah, but you got a helmet.
You got that awesome helmet with it, which is just amazing.
Yeah, helmets or weapon replicas are like the piece de résistance for me. Wait, is that French? Resistance.
Pièce de la résistance.
Yes, exactly. Sorry
and
about
same
that
thing
French.
with the Mass Effect version that came with the helmet.
Yeah,
there's so many great collectors. So I hate to see us going in this new direction. Yeah, and I hope that we don't see this as the new trend. What's the game that released just not too long ago? Destroy All Humans. And they just came out with a remastered version. $300. And the extra $220 was just for one figurine.
Yeah.
of the main.
That's an
protagonist.
expensive figurine.
Yeah,
Like I
started
said,
with that.
yeah. I think for a collector's edition, I'm down with like one big, really cool piece.
Yeah,
And then the game, and then I'm good.
Yeah, well, that was $300 for crypto and the game.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah.
So,
no thanks.
And tell us what you think. I thought I'll still be buying collector's editions, but I always look for a deal. I've got a lot of them at half price if I wait a while.
Yeah.
And good hunting to you all.
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think that Bentley, do you have a favorite collector's item that maybe that we've collected here in the office that you can think of? We've been talking a ton about collectors things.
I'm not quite sure.
As he looks around the office.
Okay. One thing I like is the controllers. We
Oh,
have a few
You
controllers.
want to show some of those Xbox controllers on?
Sure. Here, I'll let you show off
Okay.
this one.
So this one, guys, I didn't even realize this, but this, as far as, again, collectors, this, this doesn't come with, well, it did. This came with the game. This is the Sea of Thieves controller. Now, what I did not realize, Dad, is that in 2020, this thing blew up. You can't find these controllers. You bought me this game and then you asked me, do you want the controller that comes with it? And I said, yeah, sure. Just kind of nonchalantly. Well, this controller went over $300 in 2020.
Yeah, I couldn't get myself one.
Yeah, and if you aren't watching again the video, this is a see-through. It's got the purple color. It's reminiscent of, was that the N64 days with that see-through purple, like that plastic?
Oh yeah, I've got one. It's the atomic purple version.
Yeah, the atomic purple, and it reminds me of the atomic purple see-through stuff. And then it's got the splash of the green with the skull in the middle, and then
that's a great looking.
It's got
controller.
a gold right trigger. It's just so cool.
That's for your gold tooth matey.
Yeah, and there's even etching of the islands. It's really hard to see with the sheen, but just right here, where your hand kind of rests over that bottom piece of the controller, it's got etchings of islands.
Yeah,
it's actually engraved into it. You can feel it. But this controller, and then here's the thing, I played with this for a ton. So look, I wore away a little bit of the left thumbstick. And then when I saw that it was over $300, I put it up on the stand and I stopped using it. But this is probably my favorite controller.
I think Bentley's got another one to show us.
He does, yeah. He's going to continue with the conversation.
All right, well, I don't really know much about this one. This one's for your Xbox Series.
Yeah, that
X,
one
right?
goes with the Infinite.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's
Halo
right.
Infinite Series X, yeah.
For that edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really clean. That reminds me of just like a nice Navy suit.
It is. It really
gold
is.
with the blue and the midnight blue.
If you look at the Xbox Series X Halo Infinite console, it has that same type of geometric graphics on it.
Yeah.
And the same color palette.
Yeah.
It really looks sharp. It does. It looks like a uniform.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is my man, Ben.
Yeah,
this is one of my favorites.
Mr. B's.
Super cool. You got this one for me.
Was that for birthday?
So
I
nice.
can't remember.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, it's for the Forza Horizon. Is it 5 or 4?
Yeah, this is the last Forza Horizon 5. Right?
Yeah, 5.
Correct us in the correction down below if you guys. I can't remember. I think
or
it's
send
5.
us to the correction box.
Forza Horizon 5, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And
which was this year.
Yeah, so it has the like festival paint splatter on the controller. For those of you who have like played the game, they always do like the pink and the blue like mist whenever you go through like a,
because it was in Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then it has transparent plastic that's yellow, and then the triggers are and as well as the thumbsticks pink.
It's basically like Carnival. It's just got this splash of all these amazing colors.
Yeah. And then the last cool thing is you can see on the back right here, this black part is actually basically like a steering wheel.
It feels like steering wheel rubber.
Oh, I didn't notice that before.
Here, feel it.
Give it a
that's
feel.
exactly like.
It's super nice, super smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a Mercedes?
Yeah.
It's a very nice feature to the controller.
Sweet.
So yeah.
That's a spectacular one. Good job, Xbox. I mean, those guys putting out the hardware for Xbox with the controllers and stuff is absolutely fantastic. And Bentley was talking about, thanks for sharing that, Bentley. He was talking about that Forza Horizon 5 controller just basically takes us into our next conversation. That's what games were, what are some of our favorite games of this year, 2022? I want to start that conversation off, and then also, what we're playing. It'll kind of bleed into it. So Bentley, after talking about that, and it reminded me of Forza Horizon 5 because you played that this year. But what's some of your favorites this year that you've played?
Yeah. So including, it would be Forza is definitely one of the big ones. Although that actually came out really late 2021.
We'll count it.
But yeah, and then they released a Hot Wheels, like what is it called? Like extended something or
Expansion.
other. Yeah, expansion. And that was in 2022. So that was something really cool.
You guys have to show me that. I haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet.
it was super awesome. It was like you're riding up, the tracks and stuff.
Yeah.
Super cool. And then yeah, so that would be one of my favorite games for 2022, as well as for me, I was enjoying Splatoon 2 and Slime Rancher, the original, like a while ago. I would play those a lot. So the sequels of those games released
This was your year.
just recently. Yeah.
Yeah.
Slime Rancher 2
Mm-hmm.
just recently released, and then Splatoon 3
Mm-hmm.
as well. So I've been playing those. They're pretty fun.
Yeah. And your consensus is definitely worth the pickup for those
Yeah.
games.
Especially for somebody who's like enjoyed the games before. If you enjoyed the previous games, you're definitely gonna like this one.
Yeah.
But if you didn't enjoy the other games, then you probably won't like them.
Yeah.
So
Well, that's true.
But-
And Slime Rancher 2 was on Game Pass too, so that was an easy pickup.
Yeah.
Whereas Splatoon 3, you had to buy it, but and they also released a really cool Nintendo Switch
Mhm.
Splatoon 3
Yep.
edition for that as well. Go ahead.
I got to be real honest with you. I'm going to kind of wimp out on what's my favorite game and what I've been playing. There's so many things I have to play that I almost get kind of like locked up. I have decision paralysis.
I was about to say, do you have game paralysis? Like,
Yeah,
there's so much to
absolutely.
play, and then you sit down, and you get so tired that you just don't play anything.
Yep, you got it.
That's
Especially
exactly
when-
what I do.
Especially when you're retired, so you're getting a head start on it.
Yeah.
But
How many of you guys feel the same way? Are
yeah.
your lives so busy that you go through the backlog or all the games or the games that are coming out, and you're like, oh, I'm so excited, and you lay down, you're out.
Yeah.
You're asleep before you even play a game.
Or if you get old like me and you have 3 o'clock naps, that happens. But
Maybe it's just you and me, Dad. Maybe Bentley over here, he's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I mean, I definitely have a similar thing. Probably not the same as you guys, but like, I don't know. I was talking about Slime Rancher and Splatoon, like those being my favorite games and what I've been playing, but I haven't played those in like a few weeks.
A few hot weeks for sure. Yeah.
So yeah, it just every once in a while I like fall
Yeah.
off the train and
Yeah.
don't get back on.
well, and it's tough. One of the things that keeps us all from replaying games or getting caught up on games is if it's been a long time and it's a complex story game.
Mhm.
Let's even take a Destiny, or let's take a God of War.
Mhm.
And if you're halfway through it when you leave it, you sometimes pick it up and you go, oh, wait a minute, who was who? What are the controls that I need to be using on this game? It can take you an hour or more to reorient yourself to where you're competent to move forward and feel like that's the bad part about dropping off and leaving a game is it's tough to get back in. It takes effort.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. A high learning curve is really hard on a game.
Yep.
And again, this is why when I mentioned the previous podcast of the short games that I'm playing on Steam
Right,
and on the Steam
right.
Deck, is I can pick it up and be in for 10 minutes and back out. One of the topics we've all talked about wait, what? is games that are under 10 hours
Right.
to play.
That's supposed to be one of our segments coming up on future episodes.
Remember back in the day when games like Skyrim came out and you're like, oh man, you can put like 100 to 150 hours in this game. And now we're like, when we hear about an open world game, we're like, oh no.
Yeah, I know. I mean, what do you feel comfortable at? I mean, 10 hours is awesome or less.
Mhm.
25 is kind of my tops. And
Yeah.
if there's something that I can get a really good steal on or deal
Yeah.
on, I don't care that I'm not going to play it for a year or
Yeah.
whatever. When they say you can get 75 to 125 hours on it, it's
Mhm.
like, okay, we will see you this December.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I agreed. Yeah, I agree. For me, I think I'm not going to skip out on the conversation, but Bentley added his games. I actually want to add on to his talking about Forza Horizon 5. When the DLC pack came out for Hot Wheels, I didn't play the other Hot Wheels pack that came out for I think it was Horizon 3. All right, guys, we had a little camera issue, so we turned it back on. We're going to try and finish here in the next 5 minutes. I was talking about Hot Wheels DLC, and I absolutely loved playing Hot Wheels DLC for this year. That it's not even a whole game, but it just improved Forza so much for me. The feel of being shot on those ramps and looping and going sideways and doing all the crazy, you know, all the G's you're pulling. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of F-Zero.
Yeah.
You remember that? Yeah.
And I think if you recall, I think I bought you some Hot Wheels stuff as you were.
Oh yeah, no, I love Hot Wheels stuff. It was fantastic. Anyway, so I've been enjoying that, and of course, being in my particular situation of being, you know, where I have Bentley who's 16 and I have a little guy who's 3. I've been playing Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Forgotten Kingdom, or something like that, and he loves watching. And I think I don't know if we can pick up the baby crying in the background.
Speaking for our little guy, I think we need to close this episode down.
Yeah, we need to close this episode down, but that's one I've been really enjoying playing with him. He just likes sucking up the bad guys and taking their powers and then going and beating the bosses. Yeah, so my catalog of gaming is insane. And then of course I try to play God of War on the Steam Deck and in bed at night, trying to finish 2018 so I can play Ragnarok on the 9th. And so that's kind of where I am. So favorite game, do I have a favorite game? You know what my favorite game is? The games like Vampire Survivors and Brotato. If you haven't seen Brotato, it's like Vampire Survivors, but you're a potato and you're trying to survive as a potato with a certain loadout.
Try it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, Brotato. It's fantastic. That actually might be one of the funnest games I've played. Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that's it as far as the games we're playing. The games, we'll have another end of the year discussion with games that we really have enjoyed through the end of the year. We have some teasers just ending this podcast, right? We're going to do, like we mentioned before, we're going to do some live sessions for the podcast, and we're going to do, I think we're going to call them
co-op games.
Yeah, we're going to call them after parties, and we're going to play some of these games, all of us here. And, you guys can join us live while we play some of these games that we're talking about or, experiencing. Maybe it's a new game. Maybe it's one we've, been playing. Maybe it was one at the beginning of the year, like Elden Ring or something like that, right? But there's a big party we're going to plan at the beginning of next year. Elder Geek Gamer over here, my dad, Mark Larson, he turns the big 70 in January.
And we're going to party. Game party.
We're going to party, and we're going to actually try to maybe set that up as a live.
It would be really nice if we could do a live stream, have all my buddies there and family. And
guys, what you don't know about us is my dad and I, and Bentley hasn't joined in, until recently. We might be able to do it again. And now that he's older, we used to do LAN parties all the time. For years and years and years, decades.
And then COVID got us.
And we kind of stopped doing that. But the LAN party thing, there's just something about being together in the same room and playing games.
Can't wait.
Absolutely a blast. Yeah, so more co-op games. We're going to do the January birthday party. Yeah. We're going to do some live sessions of the podcast, Gamer Like Dad podcast, and a lot more. And if you guys have suggestions for us, again,
please do let us know.
Yeah, because we want to do some cool things with you guys. And we have such a great community from the Pokemon community, but also, from your community and just love to grow that community and just have fun together and enjoy video games and nerdiness. Right?
Let's go get the little
We'll get the little guy. But thank you guys so much for supporting. Again, just leave a like, 5-star review on any of the podcast outlets. Check us out on, Dad, where can they find you again?
On YouTube as Elder Geek Gamer, or Twitter, Elder Geek Gamer 1.
Elder Geek Gamer 1, and Bentley and I, you can find us at not Elder Geek Gamer, but Gamer Like Dad on YouTube. And that's pretty much where we are. But again, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.